Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome back. Jamie here today, and we're going to be talking about the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which just came out on Netflix. Now, before we get started, I gotta say, I actually did enjoy this film. Obviously, the characters are kind of meh, but Leatherface was so brutal and amazing. The kills, his kill count in this, oh my god. And let's be honest, it's called the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We're watching it for Leatherface, really. I think they got it just right. He was actually scary inside this film. Obviously, you can't repeat what the original did in 1974. With like how it felt real and stuff, but this is gonna hold up, I think, definitely. But let's jump right into it. The last film that was released was called Leatherface as well, which was at least 5 years before this, but this is the direct sequel to the original, and you could also like maybe count it with other sequels as well. But it's also similar to Halloween 2018 because we got Sally back, but she's played by a different actor, and you know, she's like been waiting 50 years and stuff. The way the trailer set it up, it seemed like it was gonna be more of a bigger part, but to be honest, it wasn't that. I mean, it's kind of cringy, yeah. And we're going to get into spoilers inside this review. Obviously, it's on Netflix right now, so you can go and watch it if you want. The film starts off with a recap of the first film in like a documentary I guess they've made an hour long. It's playing on the TV, and it's actually called the Texas Chainsaw Massacre as well. We hear from the guy who works at the station that Sally became a ranger, and she's been looking for Leatherface for years, but she never actually saw his face because, you know, he was wearing human faces, so she couldn't find him. We get introduced to the new characters. There's like 4 of them, 3 girls and a guy. 2 of them are sisters. And they're like moving to this small town in Texas to like open a restaurant and start like a new whatever. Like, these characters are just meh. Obviously, I'm gonna say right now, I don't really care about these characters, but we're not watching it for these characters, we're watching it for Leatherface, and they do deliver with Leatherface. When you arrive at the town, there's like an orphanage and a woman who lives there, and she's been living there for years. We see like photos from 1975, I think. And we see someone in the back who I guess we assume is Leatherface, but wasn't Leatherface like 19 or 20 in the original? And he was a big guy as well. Gunnar Hansen was big. I guess he was, you know, adopted by this woman. She's clearly been looking after him. They get kicked out because apparently they don't have the right to live there anymore. These new characters got the paperwork to like own the building, so they get kicked out. But while she gets kicked out, she has like a heart attack or something, and Bubba comes down and carries her into like what's the sheriff van really. And one character decides to go with him. Unfortunately, she dies on the way there, and you can tell this makes Bubba emotional. He's trying to bring her back. He's doing everything he can with the machine until the cop tells him no, and that makes him snap. And he literally snaps the cop's arm. His bone comes out, and he stabs the guy inside the neck with his own bone. Brutal, man. This is the first inkling here that Leatherface is brutal inside this film. And then like the other cop shoots or something, but the bullet goes into his neck or something, and the car crashes and she's in the front. So the car crashes and she's wakened and she's trying not to make noise, and she sees Bubba in the background skinning that old woman who's been taking care of him, skinning her face. And then he holds up, we get that shot from the trailer when he holds up the face inside the sun, and he's actually wearing her face now. So maybe that's something they were going with, where like Bubba like skins the people he actually cares about once they died. But the cop wakes up and Bubba comes over and just gets this tank and he just starts hitting him inside the head with it. And then he eventually kills the blonde girl as well. He stabs her inside the stomach, and then he like, I thought he was gonna like close her eyes or something, but it was just like stroking her face. And we get the other shot from the trailer when he pops up from the field like he's just done taking a shit. But Bubba does look scary inside this film, no doubt, man. From there, Sally gets introduced inside the film. She gets a phone call from the gas station worker, and she looks at the photo from the original, you know, what the hitchhiker took of all of them inside the van. But I thought the hitchhiker burnt that photo, so how is that photo still like existing right now? That's what I don't understand. Bubba comes back to the orphanage. I don't know how he got from where the car crashed all the way back here without anyone noticing him, but he ends up like slashing Dante, another character, with like a cleaver inside the kitchen, and we see the door swinging. It's a little callback to the original in a way. Like each time the door swings, he's at a different position. And I thought he was dead at this point, but he comes back to life in a little bit, and we see what happened to him as well. Bubba's upstairs inside the orphanage, and he gets the old woman's dress and he starts putting makeup on. And then from there, he gets a hammer and he starts smashing the wall, and he gets the original chainsaw out of the wall, what we see inside the original teaser trailer. So I'm guessing like she's helped calm him down over the years and like, you know, put the chainsaw away, stop the killing, and now that she's dead, you know, he's on the loose. Like I said, Dante's still alive somehow. He wanders outside and all his face is cut up his cheek. He looks a bit like Venom. And of course he dies at that point, but still. We've got like the worker who like helped the contractor or whatever, he helped build the buildings for him. He goes inside the house, and Bubba just hits him with the hammer and breaks his leg. And they get into like a little fight, break a window, and Bubba just smashes his head into the broken glass and it slices his throat. And then he falls to the floor, and Bubba's not done with him yet. He gets his hammer and just keeps hitting him inside the head with it, carving his skull in, man. It's brutal. So brutal. Sally goes to the car crash site and she finds the old woman, like, who's had her face skin just sitting up, and that's a weird image right there. And she goes back inside the car and looks at the photo again. One of the main girls is trapped inside the house. She tries escaping down the stairs, and we think, oh, she's gonna get away. She just looks up. Bubba's just stood there now with his original apron on. He throws the hammer at her and she goes flying back all the way through the floorboards. I guess she don't weigh that much, but still, it seemed like a lot of force coming at her. And then we get the other shot from the trailer, like she's crawling through the crawl space and Bubba's like chainsawing down, and eventually it chainsaws into the pipe, the sewer pipe, and all shit comes onto her. From there, they run onto the bus outside, and then Bubba comes on. We get the other scene from the trailer. It's like, oh, you're gonna get cancelled if you try anything, bro. And he just starts chainsawing through them all while they're Instagramming, and people are like commenting like, is this real? Obviously there's some CGI going on here, but it's like, how else would you accomplish this in such like a confined space with a chainsaw? It has to be CGI, but it's brutal, man. He kills a lot of people inside this bus. Like, he pushes one guy with his chainsaw like right through him into another girl. One of the other girls tries to escape her through the window. He just cuts her in half as well. The two sisters like enter the bathroom, and then Bubba starts going through the door. All I got inside me was the original, like, look what your brother did to the door. But eventually they end up escaping, and Sally arrives and locks them inside a car, because then she gives the Laurie Strode monologue. I've been waiting 50 years for this, blah blah blah. She's like, oh, he's after you, so I'm gonna lock you in here while I go after him. So she goes back inside the house and she finds Bubba sat upstairs, and she's like, oh, don't you remember me? And then she turns into Heisenberg. She's like, say my name, say my name. And Bubba just walks, man. He's not paying any attention to her. He don't give a shit. She comes out and shoots him inside the shoulder, and then he like sort of runs away a little bit. But then he comes back. She's like, what's going on? He just comes charging at her, sticks the chainsaw right through her, revs her up inside the sky, blood coming down. You're like, holy shit. I thought she was going to survive more than that, but nope, she's pretty much dead at this point. And then once he's done sawing through, he just throws a body, and he throws the chainsaw at the car, which them two are in, causes them to crash as well. And eventually chases one of the sisters, and you can tell Bubba can still run. We get an iconic chase scene with the chainsaw. He can still go for how old he is now, like 60 or 70 or whatever, but he can still run. Sally's still not dead. She shoots him from the ground one last time, and then she tells the girl, oh, don't run, because you know you're gonna get haunted by this forever, and she gives her the gun before she dies. So it's the final act to go inside like this old, I don't know what it is, but there's like a pool of water in there as well. Bubba uses the chainsaw to distract her, and he just fucking grabs her, and they both go into the water. But she comes out of the water first. She gets out of the water first, and then she shoots him twice. Her sister appears with the chainsaw and just like uppercuts Bubba, just cuts him there on the cheek. He goes flying into the water. And we think, oh, that's the end of the film. It's the next day. She picks up Sally's hat. They get inside the Tesla of all things. But I understand why they did the Tesla now. And they put it on auto drive to drive away. And all of a sudden, Bubba just appears. He grabs the older sister out of the car and decapitates her while the car's driving away while she's screaming. But obviously, it's a Tesla, so she can't stop it. That is a badass scene. And Bubba starts chainsawing away like he did in the original. Amazing, man. And in case you didn't know, there's an after credits scene as well, where it's Bubba basically walking back to the house, his original house. Obviously, it don't look exactly the same. And imagine if Grandpa's still there as well after all these years. So they're setting up for a sequel, and to be fair, I hope they actually do, because I actually enjoyed this film. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I think it's one of the best sequels that's had the franchise, to be honest. The characters are shit, but we're not watching it for the characters. We're watching it for Bubba and the kills, and they deliver on that. The masks as well, oh my god, he looks so brutal. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're new. Until next time, peace out in a bit.